You know what Elden Ring is. If you haven't played it, you've seen it, and you definitely have your own opinion on it. Hell, I'll go off on a limb and assume you clicked on this video to know if I share your opinion or have some sort of spicy gaming hot take. You know what? Alright, fuck it. I'll give you a hot take. Magellan is a female boss I was forced to beat one-handed. Therefore, she's a garbage boss. From Software is also sexist because I was forced to kill a woman, if you want another layer to this take. You don't need me to tell you if this game is good or not. You either like Souls-like games, or you don't. So, I'm not going to do that. If you saw the two videos that I made on Dark Souls 3, you'll know that I have mixed feelings about these games. On one hand, the environments are excellent, and the boss designs are incredible. But I always hate the difficulty. Yes, I get it's a part of the franchise, and no, I don't want it changed. As I've said many times before, most of my favorite games are incredibly casual garbage. And when I finished Dark Souls 3, I felt done with the game. I recorded around 15 minutes of the New Game Plus mode for the videos, and that was it. I finished the game, and I moved on. I didn't really love the gameplay, and I had seen everything that the exceptional world had to give me. But I wanted that experience again. I wanted to find another world like it. So next, I checked out Lords of the Fallen, and I didn't like it. I didn't like how the game threw hundreds of the same mobs at me over and over again. I didn't like how by hour 2 it ran out of mob variety. I didn't like the bosses reused as mob enemies. I didn't like the technical issues like mob enemies leveling up with you as you level up. Yes, that is an actual bug, not a feature. I had to die in the starting area to fix that. And worse, I didn't like the art style and end world. It didn't interest me. So what may have been a pet peeve to someone who liked the world became massive issues for me. Because again, I don't like this genre's difficulty. I gave Lords of the Fallen a solid 20 hours, and I liked one boss fight throughout that entire time. So next, I tried Elden Ring. And it's pretty darn good. The incredible world design is still there. Godric the Grafted, Magellan, the watchdogs that look like cats, Radahn's entire moveset. I swear to God that fight was incredible. And an interesting thing is that it shares a lot of the same design choices as Lords of the Fallen. But here, they don't feel like much of an issue. For example, Lords of the Fallen reuses bosses as mob enemies. Elden Ring does too, but in a far superior way. You will never encounter the same enemy type, say, less than 2 hours from each other. From Software follows the rule of reusing assets, which some people might say that's bad game design, but it really isn't. It all depends on how reusable an asset is. If you're making a space exploration game, it doesn't make sense that 5 planets will have houses that look exactly the same. But if you're making a fantasy game, it makes sense that a watchdog will be in multiple tombs as a boss fight, cause these things look like they belong in there. You also find zombies almost everywhere, because, they're literal zombies. You couldn't get more reusable than that. And skeletons are smartly used only in catacombs or graveyards. Gameplay also feels way more evolved in Dark Souls 3, and way more fun. Dodges were great, there's a dedicated jump button now. Summons are also great and fun to use, and there are so many damn items. Like, just talking about the variation of throwable knives, there's, I think, 5? Most likely more, it's just pure insanity. Music is a bit quieter than Dark Souls 3, and I feel like that's worse, actually. For most of the boss fights, I felt the music was way too quiet. And while I get that for most of the field bosses you fight, it was disappointing that Radagon's boss track was the only memorable song But don't think that the music is bad. It's good. But it either doesn't get played, or it gets played too quiet, and it gets drowned out by the sound effects. And there are still some technical issues. I've experienced a few crashes and even lag spikes where there weren't on my first playthrough, and weirdly enough, Morenia, when I reached the second phase of her fight, spawned in with no health, so she literally died immediately. That's a goddamn bummer. I also need to say this, what the fuck is up with your co-op mode, Miyazaki? I get it's inspired by your real life and it's been this way since Dark Souls 1 or whatever, but it's garbage. It's insanely difficult to get your friend or a sibling to join you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You can keep your weird system to summon randoms, but for the love of God, at least add a drop-in drop-out system for friends, because it's a massive inconvenience to bring a friend into your game, and doubly so to keep them in your game. Did you walk too far from where you summoned them? Oh, they went back to their world. Were you killed by a boss? They went back to your world. They died? They went back to their world. Again, I don't care if you've had this system since the first game. It's bad. A drop-in drop-out system, at least for friends, would work best here. And lastly, because it was in the news, if you get this game, don't tell anyone who is a fan of these games. I swear to God, the gatekeeping and elitism of a Souls fan is ridiculous. Going off on why the only good way to play Elden Ring is using a big bonk stick and no summons or help at all, because that's the way the game was meant to be played. Or alternatively, attacking someone for daring to ask for a pause button, because that destroys the challenge of the game. It doesn't. It's a simple quality of life feature for people that want to play the game but have things to do in real life. Listen, the armor you find, the weapons you find, the magic you find, or the summons, are there to be used. If there was a big red button that automatically killed whatever was in front of you in this game, that's not something the devs put in to make it easy on the casuals. That's something that was put there to be used. I'm going to borrow from DJ Peach Cobbler again. I swear to God this comes up organically. Elden Ring is a game, like every other Souls game. It is a toy, and the end goal is not exactly to challenge yourself, but to have fun. All the items in the game are there to be used. If you think a pause button destroys the point of the game, or genuinely think that there is only one right way to play the game and all others are wrong, then please go outside and touch grass. Elden Ring is undoubtedly one of the best games From Software has ever done. I even started to enjoy the difficulty myself. Hell, I'm on New Game Plus and I intend on finishing the game again. It is a masterfully done game that deserves the awards it got, and what few downsides it has don't destroy the experience. Everything else in this game remains the expected insane quality, and the gameplay may well be the peak of this genre. I believe the game deserves to at least be tried out by everyone. And if you don't like the world, the gameplay, or even the difficulty, you don't have to get good. The end goal of a toy is to have fun. If that's not working, don't waste your time with it.